give me your thoughts on having a home playoff game, at Providence Park in front of our fans, and then talk a little bit about the opponent, which is one you're very familiar with.
Yeah. Obviously it's always amazing to play these meaningful games at home in October. Our staff has been stressing this is why we are here in January training. We've worked so hard for this opportunity. To play at Providence Park in front of our home fans. We can't wait. It's going to be a party. And just excited to experience that atmosphere once again. And as far as San Diego, not going to lie, they're a team we've kind of struggled with this year. They've got some world-class players. They score, they're able to score goals, and then at the same time they don't give up many. And it's going to be a battle. But one that we're very much ready for.
All right, we'll go into questions. We'll start with Alex Azzi from NBC Sports.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I was just curious if you had any thoughts on Monday's news about the arbitration with NWSL free agency. It strikes me as pretty wild that so far into your career, this is the first time that you're a free agent, and just curious if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, not just for me, but just for the players in the league. I think it's a massive win for us. There's been a few of us that have been in this league and played professionally for a long time that have never had the opportunity to truly choose where they want to play. So it's an exciting time, and I think a huge step forward for the league and obviously the players within it.
All right, we'll go to Jeff Carlisle.
Thanks, Katie. Hi, Christine.
Hey.
Obviously, the fans have made themselves clear in terms of how they feel about management's handling of certain aspects of the Yates report. And you played in Portland a long time. You know this fan base better than anyone. What's your hope and expectation for how the team's going to be received on Sunday and the level of support you're going to get?
Yeah, I don't question the support we're going to get. The fans here are tremendous. Obviously, they're vocal and have their wishes and have their opinions, which is perfectly fine. But deep down, we know that they support the players and they're here for us and they're here with us. So we're expecting a loud, packed Providence Park for this game coming up. And the opinions and things like that can be dealt with in future dates.
All right, we'll go to Ryan Clark next.
I think just first off, wanted to say I'm 6 chapters into your book and I'm enjoying it so far. So congrats on that.
Thanks.
I wanted to ask you about this San Diego team in particular, the challenges that they pose, especially given the fact that they just played last week and got a really strong emotional win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last year we played in a semifinal game after having a bye, and we didn't perform well. So I think if you take San Diego out of it, the focus has been on us and trying to obviously give ourselves a little bit of a break, but at the same time ramp it up. And because you're kind of on a roll at the end of the year, and the last thing you want is weeks off. So I think our staff's done a great job of kind of keeping us clicking while giving us a bit of downtime. But then San Diego, they've got a lot going for them, and they have a style of play that suits them that other teams have found very challenging to play against, and it's up to us to stop that. They're a very direct team that have goal scorers up top, so we need to stop the service and then prevent crosses, things like that.
We'll go to Orlando Sanchez next.
I think, how are you doing? And, individually as well as collectively, what have the past few weeks been like for you guys? How have you guys handled all this and tried to stick together in such a trying time?
Well, personally, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. It's been a interesting couple weeks, obviously, but at the same time, unfortunately, we went through this exact same thing about this time last year. So for a lot of us, there's nothing new. you know. And so we've really tried to focus on us, focus on the Thorns, focus on your teammates, the staff, kind of stick together. And, you know, we've got playoff games to win. That's the focus right now. Everything else can be dealt with in the off season. You know, I feel for the international players that had to go like overseas and then be faced with questions with their national team, whereas those of us that were here, we just kind of got to stick together and go through it together. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks, but unfortunately, like, nothing new for us.
All right, we'll go to Lindsay Schnell next.
Hey, Christine, this is Lindsay Schnell from USA Today. Thanks for chatting with us. To your point, quite a few players were asked about this during the international break. Do you think, and they spoke frankly on it, do you think that Merritt Paulson needs to sell the team given what we've read in the Yates report?
Look, I've been a part of this team proudly for 10 years, and I've seen significant changes being made this past year, and changes for the better. And like I said, look, those players were forced to face questions day of minute one of the Yates report coming out, which is kind of unfair for an athlete to be faced with. So for me, I'm focusing on the playoffs. I'm focusing on getting ready for San Diego. And I think for a lot of players, it's going to take time to get to the decision where whatever that is. It's an individual decision, but it's going to take time. So right now for me, just focusing on soccer.
All right, we'll go to Joe Becker next.
Christine, good to see you again.
Hey.
You mentioned that you're excited to experience the atmosphere again. And you've been at it for such a long time and such a great player over the years. How much do you still enjoy the games with everything going on? How much are you enjoying the games?
Look, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be here. You know, it's an honor to represent this club. It's an honor to represent the city and the fans. And these playoff games at home, I mean, that's why you play. If you can't be excited for that moment, you shouldn't be playing. And just the thought of it excites me. You know, we've had some new teams coming into the league that are you know, trying to challenge our fan base, I think. But we're the originals, and you know, our fans are they're the best.
All right, we'll go to Melina next.
Hi, Christine. Thank you for your time. Just two questions. How can you rate your year, number 10 in the league? And how have you been, physically speaking, knowing the injuries you had to deal with this year? Thank you.
Yeah, obviously for me, the year was kind of like up and down, dealing with, like you said, a couple injuries. My mom passed away. It's been a roller coaster of a year. But I think I've come through it stronger and peaking at the right time, feel great. Just ready to go. I mean, we've got 2 weeks to go, so everyone's ready.
All right, we'll go to Brenna Green next.
Hi, Christine. Brian kind of touched on this a little bit and kind of touched on it a little bit as well. I guess, what is it like for you as a player to be put up there at the podium and being asked questions about other people's actions, especially male actions, and having to answer those questions?
Look, like I said, I think it's one of my jobs. I think it's one of my roles as one of the leaders on this team, as someone that's been here through it all, and seen the good, the bad, and everything in between. I think it's important that people make themselves available to speak. Unfortunately, it's not just female athletes that deal with this. It's females all over the world. So for me, it's an honor to speak on behalf of the players, on behalf of myself and this organization.
All right, we'll take a couple more questions. We'll go to Steph Young from The Athletic next.
Thanks, Katie. Hi, Sang. I wanted to, you mentioned earlier you guys have struggled with the wave in the past, but I'm just wondering, after the break, Rianne mentioned sometimes a long break is not necessarily great in between games, but just about your confidence and your ability to, through you and Sophia Smith in particular, to really put pressure on the Wave's center backs, especially given, Naomi Giraba and Kayla Real have had pretty solid season back there.
Yeah, I think when you look at San Diego, just with the way they play, being direct and launching balls into the box, they're never out of the game. There's been twice, I think, this year where we've been up by 2 goals or even 3 goals and they've clawed their way back in. So I think that's what I mean, that like they're never out of a game. But in playoff games, it usually comes down to your individual battles, whether, like you said, it's Soph and myself, it's being able to look the person that you're playing against in the eye and know that you're going to dominate them that day. And we just have to do that all over the park.
All right, we'll take one final question from Lindsay Schnell.
Christine, you point out, that Portland's the OGs because of their fans, and that way before the Thorns because of playing at UP. Given how mad some of the fans are right now, what's your level of confidence that no matter what happens, like after the dust settles, that this city is still going to be rabid about soccer?
Yeah, I'm actually like 100% confident in that, because no matter what happens, like the passion and like this, like the Thorns, the Timbers, it's bigger than like one individual person or 2 people or 3 people. I think there's some healing that needs to happen. But I mean, I've been coming down to Portland since I was like a little kid, and this city has always represented and come out to support their soccer teams, and I don't see that changing. But like I said, the fans demand answers, and that's fine. But yeah, the Thorns, the Timbers, I don't know, it's here to stay. Yeah, at least that's my opinion.